Every August, this pasture in the Yorkshire Dales in the north of England is transformed into a camping site as hundreds of visitors swarm up the slopes of Ingleborough to reenact an historical event, the first descent into the perilous hole of Gaping Gill. The journey down is effected by means of a winch and open to anyone willing to pay £5 into the coffers of the local potholing club. This fee only covers the return trip. The descent is free of charge. Into this 100-metre deep hole gushes a waterfall. Perched on a narrow seat, the intrepid visitor is lowered rapidly downwards through the clouds of spray and into the vast subterranean vault, the largest such cavern in the British Isles. The descent of the entrance tunnel shaft at Gaping Gill is among England's most spectacular potholing experiences. In the middle of the last century, a team of British mountaineers attempted to reach the floor. It was all in vain. Midway, the raging torrent forced even the most courageous of their number to give up and return to the surface. Prior to his travels through England and Ireland in 1895, Martel had already read extensively about this allegedly invincible abyss and had taken the precaution of packing ropes and ladders.
Deprived of the assistance of my devoted Armand, it fell to me to supervise single-handedly the interminable preparations. I had the opportunity to appreciate the virtues of the phlegmatic British character. Despite their obvious keen interest, the spectators exercised the utmost restraint. Nothing disturbed the relaying of my instructions, nor were my preparations hindered by any misguided offers of assistance. I remembered how often we'd wished such self-discipline from the unruly inhabitants of southern France, where we almost came to blows with the village youth. Seemingly mindless of the acute danger, they even once insisted on turning the area surrounding the mouth of the shaft into a dance floor, accompanied by a violin and accordion playing so loudly that we were unable to make ourselves understood over the telephone. In short, my audience at Gaping Gill was certainly the most orderly and restrained I've ever experienced.
Although the descent on the automatic winch is exciting enough for the average tourist, the true potholer abseiles down a 12mm thick rope suspended some 100 meters above the floor, just as Martel had done himself.
The first 20 meters go remarkably well. The rope is inclined gently towards the wall. I only have to let myself slide down. The waterfall is about 1.5 meters to my left, drenching me with its spray, but the jet of water does not hinder my progress. Then I submerge into the waterfall. The water's cold, and despite my being well buttoned up at the collar, runs down the back of my neck, sending shivers down my spine. I congratulate myself on having taken the precaution of wearing boots with holes which allow the water to escape. Contrary to my fears, I'm not benumbed by the shock of the cold water cascading onto my head. At a depth of 40 meters, my progress is suddenly halted. Hello, hello, what's the matter? The rope has become ensnared in a crevice. We'll need 5 minutes to free it. That's too long. I'm suspended in the middle of a waterfall, and it's not exactly warm in here. Hurry up! Despite my protests and lamentations, the minutes pass slowly as the torrent of water draws me into the folds of a swirling mantle. Suddenly, at a depth of 70 meters, the shaft widens. The walls spread out abruptly at a perpendicular angle and are transformed into a horizontal ceiling which vanishes into the pitch darkness. I'm entering a huge cavern, stretching away into the blackness much further than the eye can see. At 1:45 p.m. I finally reach the floor of the shaft. The descent has taken 23 minutes.
Besides hitting the headlines in the British press, Martel's discovery also caused consternation among the nation's mountaineers and cavers.
It must have come as a very great shock to them to find they'd been beaten to it by a Frenchman without them knowing he was coming over here. Immediately after his descent, they made their own preparations for a descent, and after one attempt which didn't reach the bottom, they themselves reached the bottom a year later. But their exploration of other potholes and shafts, both on Ingleborough and in other parts of Yorkshire, escalated, and it gave them the kick they needed to regard it as a serious thing to do, rather than just perhaps every now and then, okay, we'll go down this hole.